doing here? All right, let's move it along. All right, so first topic of the day obviously is a big one, as it was reported by Easton Butler that TJ Sanders, defensive lineman from South Carolina, is in for a top 30 visit. Whether he's already been there, it's scheduled, or it's going to happen. TJ Sanders, big time prospect in my opinion. And this is a guy who overcame coming out of college. He was not one of the highly touted recruits, and coming out of high school into college, he wasn't like a big 5-star recruit. Really excited to see if the Packers may take a swing at him. Now, just a little info on him. Obviously, Bucket Scobenberg been working overtime again. The Green Bay Packers have reportedly scheduled a top 30 visit with South Carolina defensive lineman TJ Sanders, according to team sources, positioning him as a key prospect for the 2025 NFL Draft. Sanders currently slotted at 41 on our PTA big board, showcases skills at the combine with his 6'3", 297-pound frame and 4.95 40-yard dash, offering the Packers a disruptive interior defender with the potential to complement Kenny Clark on their defensive front. So if you move on to the high school days, look at this boy in high school.
Dang.
Imagine lining up against this cat.
Nope.
Look at 464. He's like, what the hell have I got myself? So here's the scouting report coming out of high school for TJ Sanders, a 3-star recruit from Marion High School in Marion, South Carolina. TJ Sanders entered the 2021 class as a versatile athlete with untapped potential, standing 6'4", 275. They lied once again. I promise he didn't shrink at the combine. He blended size with agility, excelling as a 2-sport star in football and basketball. His senior tape revealed a quick first step, powerful hands, and a relentless motor, earning him all-state basketball honors and a number 12 ranking among South Carolina prospects for 24/7 Sports. Sanders chose South Carolina over offers from Tennessee and NC State, with recruiters eyeing him as a raw but high-ceiling defensive lineman. Goes on now. Here's the PFF card. Obviously, someone who's entering the league somewhat ascending. In 2021, his PFF grades were a 59.2, 57.4 in 2022. Then he climbed to a 72.5 in 2023. And then in 2024, he jumps all the way up to an 82.4. So he is a player that's gotten better every single year. I mean, with the exception of a slight step back when he finally started playing more in 2022. It looks like 2021 he had minimal snaps. So it seems like a guy who's figuring it out along the way. Really does. What do you guys think looking at the PFF grades there? And we'll continue to dive into the scouting report. I just want to get your all's initial thoughts before I continue talking here. TJ Sanders, Tim, how would you feel about him at pick 23? Or is this maybe what we were talking about? Maybe Goody might be looking to eye a couple of prospects that go, okay, if we do decide to trade back, that's our dude if we trade back.
This is our target, yeah. The thing I like most about TJ Sanders is he's a true real deal 3-tech. And I feel like we've talked ad nauseum about how badly we want to see a true 3-tech in this defense. So that's exciting about him. And, I don't know, is 23 a reach if you're if that's a super important position to need? I don't think so necessarily. I wouldn't be upset at all with him at 23. I also wouldn't be upset with trading back to 27 or 26 and loading up on an extra pick, and maybe you snag Sanders in the second round or something if he's there. But I think he's a great prospect for sure. And you know me, I'm all about the defense, so I would be all for this pick.
Go ahead, Jake.
Huckleberry, what do you got?
Yeah, I think 23 is a little rich for my blood. Graded out real well. We saw the ascending grades, which is nice. Like Tim said, he's definitely a 3-tech. Pass rush grade of a 81.9, run defense grade of a 77 flat, true pass set rush grade of a 90.3. He had a 12.6 pass rush win rate. Around that grouping of the other DTs that are going to be there around 23, I would totally love it if it was maybe a second round pick, or maybe like you just talked about, maybe a trade back scenario. At 23, it'd be a little too rich for my blood.
Got it. Deadfish says, I would think Sanders would be there at 54. If he's there at 54, run a card. That's a great pick at 54, in my opinion. Coach Lynn says, or 29 or even 32, that would be a little more palatable for sure. Someone is going to fall that can help us. Agree there, man. Moving along here, in terms of college statistics, Sanders, a four-year tenure at South Carolina, which, by the way, I like that he didn't transfer at all either. You know what I mean? Kind of stuck with his school. South Carolina wasn't a powerhouse by no stretch. Reflects a trajectory of growth and impact after redshirting in 2021 with just 1 tackle in 2 games. He emerged in 2022 with 16 tackles and 1 sack across 12 games. His 2023 redshirt sophomore season marked a breakout, 43 tackles and 4.5 sacks in 12 games, earning honorable mention All-SEC. In 2024, Sanders peaked with 51 tackles, 4 sacks, and 7 tackles for a loss in 13 games, adding 33 quarterback pressures and securing first-team All-SEC honors. Again, first-team All-SEC. So his career totals in college ended up being 111 tackles, 9.5 sacks, and 15 tackles for a loss over 39 games. That's a pretty stout performance there for an interior defensive line playing for a school that has not competed for an SEC championship in some time.
Yeah.
So obviously they're in the bottom half of the SEC. You go out there and put those kind of numbers up, man, and then earn first-team All-SEC honors, Jacob. That's pretty impressive, man.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the fact he didn't transfer out of there. I think that's kind of cool, too. You don't see that nowadays. People are just not loyal, especially in the college game. You see a guy that's, has some loyalty, that has some tenure there. And I mean, South Carolina, it's not like he's playing at, St. Kate's or something like that. He's playing some decent people, and like you talked about there.
Big schools, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, first team all SEC. I mean, that's nothing to shake a stick at. So I would, again, it's just something I think 23 would be a little rich for my blood, like I said, but man, somewhere in the mid-second, I'd be totally on board with the TJ Sanders signing. I think it'd be cool. And look at this. Oh my gosh. Is that Omer? What is going on?
Back in their house.
Heck.
Omer.
All right. He's saying the Packer shopping list. He says this. He says the Packer shopping list D-end in round 1s, 2 or 3, cornerback, at least 1 DT, wide receivers in the later rounds, but would be ideal. All right, welcome back, Omer. Let's go.
Hey, real quick on TJ Sanders, did you guys see that he played a little tight end in high school?
Oh, for real?
Yeah, and also shined on the basketball team as well. Can you imagine 6'4", 290 coming at you on the basketball court?
I almost used that picture for his high school profile there because there was a picture of him in his basketball uni. And I was like, he's busting out the seams of that thing. Boy, I bet he's bodying people, man. I'm just telling you,
Hook him up with one of them custom uniforms, huh?
Exactly. We had a couple of those guys on our high school teams too, man, where it's just like you can't expect them to run the court consistently, but boy, they'll put somebody's ass on the floor. I promise you.
Yep.
That's the way it works.
Nobody's boxing him out, I promise.
Exactly. So when you look at the RAS card, man, it looks pretty. So he measured in at 6'3", 297 pounds. His hand size was 10 1/4. That's some big old paws on that boy. His reach, arm length, 31, a little over 33 inches, 33.13. His 40-yard dash, 4.95. 20-yard split was a 2.87. His 10-yard split was 1.67. Scoring him an 8.56 on the 10-yard split. That's pretty stout. His composite explosion grade, vertical jump of 31.5 inches for an 8.52, and the broad jump scored an 8.86 at 9.04. Now, he's still got a good composite agility grade with a shuttle of 4.67 and a 3-cone of 7.70. So his overall RAS is a 9.38. Goody is looking at that athletic profile and going, yes, this dude's a freak. He's got all the physical tools you need, right? Is he going to continue to ascend as he enters the league? And is he going to be someone that can evolve into that elite 3-tech pass rusher for us? What do y'all think about the RAS card, boys? We'll start with you, Tim.
No red, I'll take it. Right. And the weight is something that, he'll manage according to, wherever he's drafted, however they want him to play, similar to like a fighter, right? What is your fighting weight? What's your playing weight going to be in the NFL and in which scheme you're in? The agility grade with guys like this, I'll take it. I'll take goods all day. Normally the bigger boys, you see a lot of red in the agility grade most of the time. So I like the RAS 938. I'll take it.
Yeah. How about you, Jake?
I like it a lot. Personally, I mean, like
Doogie Howser over there with the keyboard, bro.
Doogie Howser. Oh man!
Also a great
show. Away our age right there, Clayton.
I know it, man. Go ahead, Jake. I'm sorry, man.
I I really am honestly impressed. I mean, you look at that, like a 4.95 at a legit, I mean, that's pretty much 6'4", 300 pounds. You know what I mean? For him to be moving the way that he does, and even look at the 3 count. The guy's able to change directions pretty fast for being an absolute monster of a man. The vertical, the broad, it's all there. Like Tim highlighted, I think that certain players, when they play at certain positions, when you find out that they have like a basketball background, it just for some reason makes me realize like they're just more of an athlete than just a big whatever kind of fat guy, for lack of a better term. They got some finesse to what they're doing. They're carrying that weight around quite well. So that's definitely more intriguing. Like if you were going to line up a TJ Sanders and put him up to somebody that was maybe graded out equally as well, and you just told me that he was a basketball player, I'd be like, all right. Because I mean, I think about like, it seems like a lot of the tight ends, you know what I mean, have a basketball background. A lot of the I love the saying how they always say like, oh, LeBron could be a NFL tight end. Dude, LeBron no. He falls at the very sight of an elbow. Like it's don't put that name in my mouth. I'm just saying. I
think LeBron chose the right sport. Yeah. I think he chose the right sport. If he'd been in the NFL, he would have gotten his ass kicked around. And I'm sorry, I don't subscribe to this. Oh, well, he's just trying to sell him a basketball court. He's actually tough. My ass.
Don't put that name in my mouth right there.
So, Coach Lynn asked a great question. TJ Sanders or Darius Alexander? Coach, we're a little bit – I don't say we. I don't want to put that name in their mouth right there. But on our board, on the PTA big board, we've actually got Darius Alexander in the 74 spot. And PFF loved him. He was 109, jumped to 43, jumped to 4. But at the end of the college football season, the PFF big board had him at 175, and the consensus big board had him at 193. Now, he did get a Senior Bowl bonus, which I mean, it's rare you see somebody show up at the Senior Bowl and not transfer over to being a great NFL football player. Daniel Jeremiah had him in the 50 spot. Dane Brugler had him at 67. He did score a 9+ RAS. And Greg Cosell actually liked Darius Alexander as well. So you got a 5-point Darius Alexander, 5-point Greg Cosell bonus, Darius Alexander. So to answer your question, we've got TJ Sanders in the 40-41 spot, I think. And we have got our boy Darius Alexander in the 74 spot. So that's how the board falls anyway. Again, it doesn't mean it's correct there. Coach Lynn did go on to say, love that TJ was a basketball player, probably has great movement skills. It's what you guys were talking about, man. When they talk about guys being able to jump out of the gym, that's explosion, right? When you talk about guys being able to move on the court enough, whether you're playing a zone or a man defense in basketball, you got to have that lateral quickness. You got to have that agility to play basketball. The big thing is that endurance. Like endurance in basketball, it's one thing I will tip my cap to people in the NBA, those guys, because that is not easy. Just
moving all the time. Yeah.
All the time. The only thing worse, in my opinion, is soccer, because that field's a lot bigger, boys. A lot bigger. So, I agree with the whole basketball comment there on TJ Sanders for sure. So moving along here, detailed scouting report. We did not hit that yet, did we? So he measured at 6'3", 297 pounds at the combine. Sanders possesses a sturdy, explosive build with 33-inch arms. His 4.95 40 highlights his quickness for his size, and his 2024 tape reveals a penetrating interior force. Sanders excels as a pass rusher with a rapid get-off, violent hands, and the flexibility to slip through gaps, making him a natural 3-tech in Green Bay's 4-3 front. He's reliable against the run, anchoring with power, though inconsistent pad level can hinder his leverage, developing a broader pass rush arsenal beyond his grip and bull rush. His rip and bull rush. Could elevate him into a 3-down starter with immediate value as a rotational disruptor. Look at the lean on him right here, too, for a big boy, taking the edge there, right?
Yep.
So I think that's what they were talking about. There was some of the athleticism. Injury and character concerns. Sanders' injury history is minimal. He battled a shoulder tweak in 2023 without missing time and sat out one half in 2024 due to a knee bruise against LSU, returning fully the next game. No significant durability flags exist, and his South Carolina Pro Day showed him hitting 19 miles per hour in drills. If that is true, that is insanity right there, boys. Because it's one thing to have a 40-yard dash. It's another thing to be running a drill. Like when you see the receivers run the gauntlet, that miles per hour is more important than the 40, in my opinion. but you'll take more information over less, obviously.
Yeah.
Off the field, Sanders is a high character prospect known for a strong work ethic, quiet leadership, and no off field issues. His basketball roots underscore his athletic pedigree, enhancing his appeal. Man, I don't know about you guys, but everything about that. I mean, other than the knee bruise, which he just sat out a half, that's pretty squeaky clean, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and the character issue, or lack thereof, there are no character issues. I love it. Sounds more and more like a Packer the more you read up on this guy.
Yeah, he really does just seem like he fits the exact mold of what they would try to do, especially with if you're going to take a chance on a guy like that, and if you were considering drafting him in the first or second round, you want to make sure that he is an absolute knockout pick, somebody that's going to be a staple in the community, somebody that's going to absolutely take over the green and gold as a true Kenny Clark replacement. I think if they were going to go that way, they're not going to pick a guy that's got, like Tim just said, a little bit of a bumpy background. Just reading that right there kind of solidified the fact that he fits the mold, man. He fits the mold as a Green Bay Packer.
Yeah, and if you draft him right, and you have him worked into the rotation, your rotation is probably, especially if you take him at the 23rd pick, you're going to plan on him playing quite a bit, being a first-round pick. So you would have Kenny Clark in the 1 tech, Devontae Wyatt in the 3, and you would have probably TJ Sanders in the backup 3, Carl Brooks in the backup 1. Still got Kobe Wooden there, right? So there's a number of different directions you can go there. And then next year, if you decide to move on from Kenny, you make the decision. Do we want to put Devontae Wyatt in the 1 tech in our 4-3 over or under, or do we want to put TJ Sanders there, right? And I think they could both probably handle it, seeing kind of how we run that position there. And the thing that Kenny did well last year, and I know people don't want to give him credit for it, and I understand it's not very attractive when you watch the game, especially TV copy. But man, those touch spies, he is a big reason why the run defense was so contained last year by this defense, by the running game was contained by this run defense so well. Because man, he was occupying a double team, little touch spy, and that running back had no cutback lane in the middle at least. So that's something that I think someone like TJ Sanders could probably handle that. You get to sit behind Kenny for a year, right? And then work yourself a little deeper into that rotation when you decide to move on. And who knows, maybe Kenny bounces back, has a great year, and then the following year you restructure that deal a little bit, keep him around. That could happen, right? So this is really interesting here, just looking at the chart and kind of how he's been tracked. If you notice, going into the offseason, December 3rd, he was right around the 49 mark, as you can see this, right? And he dropped down, and then right around February 24th, that's probably the combine, I would imagine, right? He jumps back up to probably around, I don't know, probably the 53, 54 mark, something like that. And then he slowly sinks back down, and now he's getting a little bit of a boost again. But when you look at the mocks here, the most recent one was April 2nd by Fox Sports' Carmen Vitale. They actually took him 24th to the Minnesota Vikings. But if you'll pay attention to the dates, there hasn't been a whole lot of mock drafts recently, at least in the month of March, that has taken him very, very high, or else those numbers would be on here, which means he's kind of slipped out of the first on most of the recent mock drafts. However, on April 2nd, they actually had him at 24th. So if I had to kind of guess where's he going to be picked, probably around Green Bay at 23 or whoever has that 35th to 40th pick, that range. So if you get to pick 23 and TJ Sanders is sitting there with, let's say, 3 or 4 prospects that you like the same, trade back and then take your pick of the minimized litter after you get to your next pick after trading back. So that kind of, I love that visualization there too, just to kind of see, okay, where has he been taken? You know what I mean, Tim? And it just shows you the ceiling. And then obviously the fact that there was no mock drafts in March that had him in the first round tells you the floor is probably early to mid-second.
And you look at the Eagles too, popping up here multiple times as a team taking him at the end of the first round there, right? I mean, clearly the pedigree is there, and you got defensive-minded football teams that are all over this guy. So you may be right, Clayton. We may have to pull the trigger at 23 if we want to get our hands on him that bad.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Jacob, what do you think, man, about this 20? It looks like late first to mid-second projection, right?
Yeah. I would definitely think that this is one of those candidates for the trade back scenario. And like Tim said, as I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, stop giving defensive players to Philly, please. Can we just
They've got enough.
They have them all.
Can we just stop? Like, but it is definitely a little more encouraging seeing that, like you said, up until very recently, it just kind of was a given that this guy was maybe a first round, sneaking into the first round, for sure an early second round guy. At this point, I still myself would be a little hesitant at 23, but if we were to trade back even 5-6 spots or whatever, and he's still there, I'd be totally cool with it.
Got it. All right. So draft projection, TJ Sanders projects as a late first round, early second round pick. A rise fueled by his 2024 performance with the 51 tackles, 4 sacks, and the combine showing. Sitting at number 41 on our PTA big board, Sanders fits a premium position in a deep defensive line class. The Packers, with picks at 23 and 54, could target him late in the first if he slides, though teams like the Chiefs, number 31, or the Ravens at pick 28 might grab him earlier for pass rush spark. He's viewed as a day one rotational piece with the tools to develop into a Pro Bowl caliber starter, unlikely to fall past the top 50 given his upside and the league's need for interior pressure. So again, that is TJ Sanders sitting in the 41 spot, officially gets the bullseye on the draft board. Matter of fact, I'll add that right now. I've got a chat mark there. If you'll pull that up for me, Jacob. I think it was by H.E. Solder, and I'll get this draft board up here if you'll remind me what he said. And
so H.E. Soder is wondering, do we want Kenneth Grant or Sanders? I'm assuming that means with the 23rd pick. That's a weird question, to be honest, for me, because I feel like Grant won't last that long, and I feel like Sanders might be a little bit of an overreach at that position. So it's kind of that weird tweener spot there. I wouldn't mind. I mean, if we were to trade up for a guy, I necessarily don't. I don't like that idea of trading up, honestly, for anybody, unless somebody falls to the point where it's like we have to. I much more enjoy the idea of us trading back and getting a talent like Sanders or something. What do you think, Tim?
Yeah, I'm with you there. Although there's a big part of me that wouldn't be upset at all if we took him at 23. Maybe that's just my bias towards the defense. I kind of put him up there in that same realm as like we talked about Kenneth Grant, like you said, like he may not even make it that far, but like guys like Derek Harmon or Walter Nolan, it's kind of tough to kind of pinpoint where you think they might go. Those are
I was going to ask, Prince brought it up right here, Grant. If let's say that Grant's gone, there's Nolan there, there's Harmon there, there's Alexander there, and there's Sanders. Which one of those would you be more likely to draft, in your opinion?
Yes. So for me, like H.E. Solder said there with Grant or Sanders, it's real easy. Kenneth Grant's 14th on our board, right? And TJ Sanders was whatever he was, 41st, right? Yeah, in the 41 spot. So Grant, Nolan, or Harmon over Sanders, completely agree with it. Like I said, we've got Grant in the 14 spot. We got Nolan in the 18 spot. And then we've got Harmon in the 25 spot. All three of those ahead of TJ Sanders. But again, if they get him in-house and he has a Jaden Reed-like performance for that top 30 visit, who knows, man? They may have a higher grade on Sanders than these guys. That may be a thing, Yep. I go back and forth. Like our board says that Mason Graham is the best defensive lineman, hands down, no questions asked, right? But again, with Greg Cosell saying that Walter Nolan is the best defensive tackle in this draft and him falling at 18, it just shows you how deep this defensive tackle class is. And that's why you got to kind of let it come to you. Kind of answer that question, Jacob, that Prince, or it really wasn't a question, just a comment here. If you get to pick 23 and 2 of those 4 are on the board, if 3 of those 4 are on the board, trade back, right? Yeah. If 2 of them are on the board, probably want to make your pick unless you've got another position like edge or offensive tackle that you feel even better about, maybe wide receiver, right? That could be the case as well. As you see Emeka Egbuka sitting here in the 19 spot on our board. So it's going to be interesting, man. That defensive line talk has been fascinating all offseason, just how we've kind of to go from at the end of the year when there were, some people screaming, we need this, we need that, we need edge defenders, we need wide receivers, we need wide receivers. We immediately said, boys, we need offensive line help now because we have no depth. Goody goes out, gets an offensive lineman. We need cornerbacks because we don't know if Ja's going to be back or not. He goes out and gets Nate Hobbs. And now we're going, okay, we got some room to breathe. What do we need? Probably moving on from Kenny, if not next year, the year after that. Let's go ahead and get that 3 tech of the future. I got made fun of for it on Twitter, right, over and over and over. But it kind of feels like they're settling in at edge, wide receiver, and 3 tech is what they're looking at here with the 23rd pick. That's what it feels like they're narrowing down to. So, anything else on